Hello everyone, and welcome to another beer review. Now today we're going to be doing a beer from Yorkshire, from Shipley. So we're going to be doing Saltaire Blonde. And it's a light, refreshing ale. It's 4%, and it's under £2 a bottle. And there's a bit of spiel in the back. It says, "Our signature pale ale balances soft malt flavours with a subtle spice from Bohemian Saz hops." There we go. And it's brewed at Docklands Road, Shipley, West Yorkshire. It's beer done right, it says. There you go. And it's 500ml, 4% like I said. And there's nothing much else, really. So, let's crack it open and see what it's like. Right, there we go. Let's see what this is like. And there you go. Looks not too bad. Nice and golden. Okay, again ahead. I'm getting light malts, but not really much else. Not getting anything floral. Nothing really identifying hops. Not even really getting a kind of grain aromas or anything like that. Not even getting kind of sweetness or anything, just getting kind of light malt flavours. Maybe slightly biscuity, but mostly just kind of malt. So, let's see what it tastes like. Right. It's actually quite nice. The flavour profiles are quite subtle, but what is there is quite nice. And this is something like I've said before, is that's why I prefer, if I was on a hot day in the summer, I would rather have maybe a beer like this than a lager. Because while I can have a couple of lagers, I get bored of it very quickly, and I just find the flavours kind of bland and boring. Whereas a couple of different golden ales, or maybe a golden ale or an amber ale, I find more interesting for drinking. So again, on a hot day, I would rather have something like that, and than have than lager, because also they're also a bit lighter on the carbonation as well, which for me is nicer. I don't want something that's too fizzy. I don't want a bloody soft drink. So yeah, that's another kind of downside sometimes with some lagers, because they're over carbonated. I know that they are supposed to be more carbonated than, say, a traditional kind of ale, but they do tend to kind of over carbonate some of them, and they're just like, God, they're a bit harsh in the mouth, and you're thinking, no, I don't want something that's going to give me wind. Trust me, my wife will swear blind she doesn't want me to drink something that gives me wind. She probably thinks I've full enough of it already. Well, I do try. But yes. Yeah, well. Right. Let's break down these flavours. And I'm going to have to work at this because they actually are quite subtle. Right. You start off with some light pale malt at the front of the mouth and a little bit of malty sweetness, which will stay there till the end. You're getting little hints of grain, very light hints of grain, and that's what you're going to get in the front of the mouth. As it moves on to the mid-tongue, it starts to kind of pick up some floral notes, light floral notes. Nothing distinguishable like, say, maybe a rosy flavour or something like that. None of that. But you are picking up some kind of hoppy flavours, and they're in the kind of the realm of the floralness. So that's what you're really getting. You've still got the kind of light underlying sweetness. You still have the pale malts, and you still have the light grey. So you've just joined the initial front of the mouth flavours with some light floral tones. After that, moves on to the kind of aftertaste, and they start to dissipate, but as the floral tones in the malt starts to kind of dissipate, you're starting getting little light accents of bitterness, which of course you've still got that light underlying sweetness. It is dissipating in the aftertaste, but it is bringing that little bit of balance to these little kind of bitter accents. But the light bitter accents, they're not kind of heavy, they're not anyway. The problem is when you say bitter, people think, oh, it's bitter. No, it's in the little light bitter accents, and it's just nice. Just adds that little kind of complexity to the aftertaste that just makes it a bit more interesting. Just that adds that little bit of kind of body to the back end, and yeah, I mean, it's nice and light. It's very easy to drink. Nice mouthfeel. And yeah. Now, it's strange because I have tried some beers. One was a bitter, and another one was it a golden ale from another quite famous Yorkshire brewery. And the golden ale was just watery. It was just dreadful. And the bitter I tried as well. Now the bitter was a southern bitter, and it was watery as well, and it was just dreadful. It was just lacking flavour, and the flavour it did have just, well, it was uninteresting and kind of one-dimensional and bland. Whereas the flavours of this are subtle, but they're there. And sitting here after drinking it, I can still pick out some of the flavours. There's just some of the flavours are still lingering, still that light bitterness is still lingering. But I can identify the flavours quite easily. But there's a lightness to it and there's a subtlety to it. But they're there, and they're there enough to make it enjoyable and interesting. It doesn't feel like it's been watered down, which I found these two beers very disappointing on that basis. But you'll see the reviews yourself, and you can hear me kick off about them anyway. But this is actually quite a nice beer. Now, what would I give this out of 10? Well, there's a question. It's under £2 a bottle, it's 500ml, it's 4%, it's easy to drink, so it's some nice, pleasant, subtle flavours. Really a nice one for the summer's day. As you can see, it looks quite good as well. What would I give this? I mean, for the style of beer it is. I mean, obviously I've had golden ales with a lot more flavour and a lot more in your face and everything else, but sometimes you don't want that. Sometimes you want something that's just that little bit lighter, a little bit more easier to drink, and something that is just not overly complex and too much in your face to enjoy, and you just want that kind of refreshment value from it as well. Sometimes you can make them too complex to the point is it's just too busy, and you're thinking, no, this is just too much. I want something a bit more refreshing, a bit more light on the kind of palate, and this kind of delivers that. So, I mean, sometimes you want a certain type of beer, and other times you want another type of beer. Again, everybody's different, and everybody wants something different at different times, for whatever the occasion or whatever the reason. So yeah, so out of this, I'm going to give this a 7. I'm going to give this a 7 because I could see me getting a few of these in, and on a hot day, just coming in from work, think, well, I'm going to have a couple of these, and yeah, just kind of perk myself up and refresh myself. And I think they would do the job really quite well. And like I said, for me, it's more interesting than just a bog standard kind of lager. And at the end of the day, you're still supporting kind of a smaller kind of breweries, which is always a good thing. So it's 7 out of 10. It's under £2 a bottle. It's 500ml. It's 4%. Thanks for watching. Cheers, and bye for now.